Alright guys, welcome back. Now I know I've been promising you guys burn tests on these blocks. Now for those you don't know, we go pick these up from a local sawmill. It's about $35 or $40 a ton or something like that. Now basically each one of these IBCs is basically a truckload in my truck, fully loaded. And they come out to be just under $40. But I think we can all agree that if you look at these, that's basically a third of a cord, guys. And I've got 3 of them lined up for this test. Now, what we're going to do is it's December 1st, so we're going to go ahead and start with this one and see if we make it past into this one in 30 days. Now, being December 1st, it's going to start to get really cold around here, and we are heating, for those of you who don't know, our 500 square foot tiny house. All right, right now, wood heat is the only heat we have. This thing is not hard to heat, honestly, because it has great insulation in it. I did 3 layers, but let's go inside. And this is our heat source. This is a little Century stove. This is a reburner. All right, it is definitely not the most efficient. We definitely need to put in a top side damper, because when this wind gets rolling out here, it will make this thing go. The blocks, usually we bring them in here. They're already pretty dry, but it is a true mix. There's poplar, there's beech, there is red maple, there is oak, red and white. We do get a little bit of pin oak. We do end up getting a lot of walnut and other things. So you're getting a full mix here of how long this is going to last. My thought is we'll probably burn about a third of a cord, one of those whole IBC totes, but you never really know with these. I've had times where I have torn through an entire truckload in like 15 days. I've had other times where a truckload lasts me quite a bit. I have fully seasoned those out there, but for any of you that worked around sawmill or sawmill wood, there's no bark, so that's a benefit. But with these blocks, the core is not always dry. I mean, basically on a red oak, they say it comes in 1 inch from every side of seasoning for every year you season it, which means the cores don't get all the way dry. But I've actually had very little sizzling this year, so I think these got really dry, being in them IBCs, being metal and up off the ground. Plus, they've had a lot of wind go through them. So we will see what happens, but I'm going to update every week and just pop in, show you how much we've burnt through this entire month. That way you can see exactly how much we get out of it, and we'll figure out, is this a good value for the money? I know everyone will say if you're cutting wood on your own property, that's the best deal. That's fair. But if you're in a bind, or maybe you want to have a head start on the year, going out and picking these up from a sawmill and having them out there starting to dry can make sure that you get your year's wood in nice and early, or maybe these will be extras. We do take these camping with us. We do use them for outdoor cooking, so they come in pretty handy. But we will be back in 7 days to see how much we burnt. Alright guys, so we are now at December 9th. I wanted to come out and make the update video on the 7th, but the 7th and the 8th have been absolute crappy outside. We actually are still in the middle of a windstorm here. It's been going on for like 3 days, but today it seems to have died down. Hopefully the wind doesn't pick up too much on the microphone. But inside, there is no wood. I do not have a single stick inside, so I got to fill up, but I wanted to show you the pile. So, as you can see, this is how much we've used. Now I want to put it into perspective. That's how much was in there. This is what we're at now, 9 days into the month. I don't think it's terrible, but we will have to see how it plays out, because we do have some extremely cold temperatures coming this weekend, and we will have to run it a little harder than we have been running it. Now, I did burn a lot yesterday because we went out to do some Christmas shopping, then went out to dinner with some of our friends. Shout out to Mike and Brenda. And had an awesome meal, but we were gone from the house, so I stuffed it full, but yet I still had to keep it cranked up, and it burnt through a lot of wood. Now, this is not always how it is. Generally, I'm home a lot of the times just to fill it a little bit, and I can kind of control it and not waste wood, but we also have a lot of smaller chunks right on the top here, which makes it burn faster. So I'll be back to update you on day 14. Alright guys, so it's time for the 14-day update. And of course, it's the coldest day of the year so far. I want to show you what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so we have about 5 inches of snow, maybe 6 with drifting. And it is 5 degrees, but the wind chill is -8. So yeah, it's cold, guys. So go down, hit like, hit subscribe just for me being out here doing this. So I even brought a broom out so I could sweep it off. I had a cover on it so we could get an honest read. But this is what we're working with, guys. I would say it's fair to say when comparing that to that we are at the halfway point, pretty much. I mean, because of the heaping. So 14 days in and we've used half of this. Now there is no wood inside, which is why I'm outside to bring the wood inside, because it's empty. I've been trying to time all these so that when I'm doing the video, there's none inside, so you get an honest look of how much we've used. But that high, so yeah, I'd say that's half. Now, I do want to say that because of this weather, I think it's clear to say you're going to burn more wood during this time versus when it's warmer out. So this is the perfect way to test it, I think, is a month like December where it's cold and warm, cold and warm, cold and warm, because then it gives you a more mixed idea of how much wood you're going to use. Now, I have been running into a lot of hardwood in this, but also a lot of smaller pieces. So we're getting a really good mix here. I don't know how this is going to turn out, because if it gets cold like this and stays like this, we will start running through this wood. Test, test, test. Now, I do think that this is going to be a really good experiment, not only for you guys, but for me as well, because it helps me calculate how much wood I need. Because you saw all the wood there, but there's more of the wood we got up there in a line stacked up. So, not that it's bad to have more wood than you need, but I'm just trying to zero in on the numbers of how many cords I actually need. I've got a big beech right here over the hill that's already been kerfed up. We're going to use it next year, but I want to cut it and get it stacked and know, am I for sure going to have enough wood for next year, or maybe even for the year after, because it's a big tree. So I will be back on the 21st to show you where we're at. And then I honestly can't wait till the first of the year to be able to tell, did we have to break into the next third of a cord, or did we have enough? But for now, it's too cold. I'm taking the wood and going inside. You guys, I hope you're staying warm. Okay guys, so it's the 21st of December. We got a beautiful sunny day. I wanted to bring you out and show you the 3-week update on the wood. Now, as you can see, we have not burned that much in comparison to what I had planned. Honestly, I straightened it out some because I've been pulling from this corner, but we are still just under a third of a IBC cage. Look at that, guys. There's still a lot of wood in there, and then do the comparison. There's the full ones. This is what's left. And we're 3 weeks into this experiment. I think that's pretty good, honestly. I mean, that to that. Now, I do want to mention that there is 2 blocks inside, only 2, and they're about to go into the stove right now. So obviously I'll be taking some out of this to take it inside. But what I'm going to do is give you 2 more updates. One is going to be on Christmas morning. We will come out and take a look at this and see what it looks like. And then one will be on the first of the year, and we can actually figure out how much we used and how much it's approximately going to cost us a year to heat our tiny house if we continue to use these blocks. Now, obviously I've got a giant big old blue beech over there over the hill cut up that I need to split. So obviously we won't be using many of these next year, but it still, I think, is going to blow your mind how little it's going to cost to heat this tiny house. So I will see you guys Christmas morning. All right, guys, so it's Christmas morning. Merry Christmas to everybody. But I just wanted to bring you out real quick and show you where we're at. I have 5 blocks inside right now, and we're about to put 3 of them in the fire. But it is actually warmed up today, so we probably won't burn much. All the snow's gone. Rained a lot last night, but this is where we're at with the pile. So there is actually quite a bit of wood left in there. And just for scale, that's the full one. This is where we're at now. Now, there's actually a lot of wood back in that corner. So we're gonna go ahead and keep burning, and I will bring you guys back at the first of the year so we can see if we ended up burning all this before the end of the year. All right, guys, Happy New Year. So we are out here on the first of the year. Now we've done our 30 days. Let's see how much wood we've burnt. All right, so we are completely empty. As you can see, we had some snow last night. Temperatures have been getting colder, so we have been burning some more. But when I got to the bottom of this one, it had a little bit of poplar in it. They were bigger blocks, but so we had to pull a little bit from here. Now it's about 2 of those single hand carry bags of wood came off this thing. Now I still have almost a full bag inside. So basically we just cracked into the top of this one. But as you can see, we used almost none in the scale of it. So 1 month, we used 1 full tote and just a few blocks out of this. Now, December is not our coldest month. You need to understand that. Obviously, we're going to use a little more in January or February. March, we're not going to use much. And October and November, we don't use much. So it's kind of something that works out. We're guessing we're going to use somewhere between 3 and 4 cords a year. I will actually update you guys at the end of this year how much we actually used, because we have the list of how much we bought to tell us how much we actually used cost-wise. But for this month, drum roll please, and $40. That cost us $40 to fill basically. It's actually probably less, 37, 39, 41, you never know. Each truckload is slightly different, and the weight is slightly different because some is poplar, some is oak, all of it's different weights. But to heat our 500 square foot 2-story house for $40, I think everyone would agree that is amazing with today's pricing. Now, that said, they just raised the electric rates at our electric company again, and the gas rates have been going up locally too. So I gotta say that every day it makes more and more sense to do these blocks. Now, if you need the exercise or you have the availability, like we do have over here on the other side of the lot, a big down blue beech that has to be done this year. and it's big enough that me and another guy probably couldn't get our arms around it. So I will be processing that. But even so, or if you have back injuries, or maybe you just don't have time because you have to work a lot, going in the spring, finding a mill, buying the cutoffs and burning them can be a very cost-effective way to heat your home. Now, I have had people messaging on my original video where I talked about using these and telling me they're getting them for like $10 a truckload because there's so many mills around them. That's awesome. So if you live in a place that has a lot of sawmills around you, you should be looking at this as an option, because if I get these for $10 a truckload, I'd have 4 years worth rolled up right here, ready to go. I'm telling you, because that's dirt cheap. But I think it was a good experiment. I do want to come back and kind of look at the overall year at the end of winter, probably towards the end of March, because we have 2 more here. We have what's left in here. I have some on the ground. And then up here, we have all that still to burn. All right, there's piles and piles of that 2 pallets wide piled up. I don't think we're even going to get through all this wood this year, which is kind of amazing and impressive all at once. But it's like the old saying, you always want to be over-prepared rather than under-prepared. And burning dry, wet wood sucks. So having this stuff here, having it all being aged out and dry is awesome. I do want to say also that I have not been getting that much ashes for my compost pile. My wife does a lot of the stove clean outs, and we have this little itty bitty little pan that we get the ashes from, and because this doesn't have bark, and it's generally speaking pretty clean wood, we don't get much ashes. So that's another benefit, or it could be a con because I don't have those to add to my compost pile. So just something to think about. But I appreciate you guys watching. Have a happy new year, and I'll see you in the next one.